Hey everybody, I'm Jared from Reap What You Sow, and today I am going to show you how to make hot tamales. And not only are we going to make the hot tamales, but we're also going to pressure can the hot tamales. That way we can have them in our pantries, and if we feel like a hot tamale day, we can always pull one out, heat them up, and we have a simple, easy meal with some hot tamales. So, first of all, I want to let you know is, a lot of you have Instapots and stuff, but this is the pot I have. It's like a pressure pot, Instapots, basically the same thing. So what I did was I put pork meat and then I put beef meat in here, and I pressure cooked this until it's ready to fall off the bones. So now I'm fixing to shred this, and we'll go from there. I'm going to show you. I know a lot of them, you can make hot tamales with ground meat and stuff, like ground pork, ground beef. But this time I want to do it a little bit different. I want to do the tamales with shredded meat, because I tried some when we were at the Bayou Bash, and they were absolutely delicious. So I'm going to use my hot tamale recipe, but instead of the ground meat and the ground pork, I'm going to shred it. So let me get this out and I'll bring you right back. Okay guys, what I'm going to do is I am going to debone this meat here. And when I debone it, see how it's just falling? I'm going to put this over in my blender because I want to blend up. Let me get me a bowl. I think I got two bowls here. Yep. I don't know. Okay guys, this is what I'm going to do. I am taking this meat, I'm deboning this. And when I'm dropping it in my blender, my Ninja. You see this fat? Because I want it all blended up to where my tamales aren't dry. But I'm taking this meat off the bone. That's where if you'd have used pork meat, pork ground meat and beef ground meat, it would have been a little bit easier. But I didn't have any pork ground meat, but I had some pork meat. Look at that fat, guys. And I just want to blend all that up. See, I'm going to add the beef fat in there too. I'm just making sure there's no bones. And I'm not going to blend it to where it's like a soup. I'm just going to like chop it. But it's falling apart. And it's got those little shreds of bones in there you got to be careful with. So this is what I'm going to do when I get all this done. In here, I can bring you back. Okay? That way you don't have to stand here and watch me debone this meat. But that's all I'm doing, is I am pulling it off the bones and putting it in here so I can blend it up. Okay guys, I went ahead and gathered up my seasoning and stuff that I was going to need. Just one second. Okay, this is our corn husk. So these have got to soak in some warm water, hot water, for about 30 minutes to where they can soften up and be very pliable to roll. So before I grind the meat, I'm going to take out some of these and I'm going to put these in some warm water soaking, and then we'll go from there. Okay guys, so I went ahead, I got it deboned, I got it in my blender. I'm getting ready to blend it. I told you we had to put the corn husk soaking. So I got them in hot water soaking. I just filled a jar of mason up and added this spoon, something to make them hold them down in the water so they'll be very pliable. So now what we're going to do is we're going to chop up this meat. Okay, let's see. Oh, I don't want it. Okay, that's all I want to do to it, guys. I don't want it to be like some soupy mess, you know. So if you can look, it's just basically kind of like just mixed a little bit. It's not blended fine. So now we're going to come over here and we're going to add it into this pot right here, and then we're going to start putting our seasonings and stuff in there. Ugh. Oh yeah. You know, I could have just shredded it, you know, if you don't have a blender, but you know, I didn't want it to be like chewy when you go to eat the hot tamale. Okay, so I'm just gonna take a guess here that we've got maybe a little over 2 pounds of meat here. I didn't measure it out. I don't never measure it. I just look, you know. So let me get this all cleaned up. All right, guys. So now we've got our meat in here. Looks good. It's all, can you see down up in here? Okay. So now, let me get my kitchen bowl. If you hadn't got one of these from Two Family Homestead, boy, you sure are missing out. All right. Okay. Now we're going to add 2 tablespoons of cumins. Okay, ground cumin. One. 2. Smells good. Okay, 2 tablespoons of chili powder. Chili powder. Okay, we got that in there. So I've already added some garlic powder, but you can add minced garlic to it if you want it. I used a little bit of garlic powder is what I used. Okay, it says 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon of cayenne. Okay, I'm not going to do cayenne, but that's what the recipe calls. I'm going to use my own homemade pepper flakes that I made. I grew these peppers in my garden. I dehydrated them, and then I just chopped them to flakes with my Ninja. So, that's what I'm going to add. I know you're thinking, oh my gosh, she just added a whole lot. But no, these are really not that spicy because I've toned it down with peppers that wasn't spicy, like banana peppers and stuff. Okay, so we have got to add, I know it's got some salt in here somewhere. Yes, 3/4. Salt. Okay, we got that. All right, let's blend all this up. We're not finished yet. And everybody makes hot tamales different. So not every recipe or every household is going to do it the same. You can play around with it, and that's what the fun of it is. Because, you know, time you add that cumins in there and that chili powder, you got it going on. You can't really mess this stuff up. Okay, so you see how this is not really sticky and it looks kind of dryish like. So now we're going to add a little bit juice to it. And this is my secret ingredient right here, the V8 spicy juice. It doesn't have to be spicy, but this is what I use. You know, a lot of people, they'll make their own juice for their hot tamales. So I'm gonna add a little bit of cornmeal to this meat mixture too. So I'm just adding a little bit of white cornmeal is all I'm adding. I'm gonna add 3/4 of a cup to this, and this is gonna help hold this together too. I might not put the whole 3/4 of a cup. Yeah, I'm not gonna do that. And so I'm gonna add some of this liquid to it. Just pour it too, because I want this spicy flavor to get in here, and I want this meat to be moist, but I want the cornmeal, you know, to help it be pliable to hold it together. So if you were making hot tamale balls, this is how you would do it. All you would have to do is add that cornmeal to here, and it would hold it together, and you make your little round balls, and then you put it in some of this liquid and boil it. The same thing, but we're not doing the hot tamale balls. We're doing the tamales. Okay. And remember what I said, everybody does it different, okay? This is just the way I do it. You do not have to do it this way. You can Google, find a recipe, but this is just how I do it. Alrighty. We're going to let this rest for a little bit, you know, maybe 15, 20 minutes until I get my corn husk soaked. You know, they need to soak at least 30 minutes so they'll be good and pliable. Then I'm going to... So now we're going to mix our meal. I've got my jars are sterilizing, and we're going to mix our meal in here to get ready to put on our corn husk. So we're going to take some cornmeal. I'm going to do about a cup, maybe a cup and a half. A cup and a half of cornmeal. Just to make sure I have enough, you know. And then I'm going to add, and by the way, I added cayenne pepper to this, and I added 2 more tablespoons of chili powder and 2 more tablespoons of cumin to this, because I like mine a little bit spicy. Y'all might not like y'all's as spicy, so you wouldn't need to add that to it. So we're going to add the chili powder to the cornmeal. I'm just going to sprinkle, let's say a tablespoon into there. I'm going to add a little bit of the cumins in there. You know, a lot of people don't do this, but I'm going to do that. So, got it all over my measuring cup. You see that? Okay, so now I'm going to come over here. This broth that I pressure cooked that in, I'm going to use that broth to stir this up. And you don't want it too runny, you know, because you've got to make this into like it's got to be packed when you put it up on your corn husk. So you don't want it to be too soupy. So you just do it to your taste, you know, how much you think, the consistency. I'll show you what my consistency looks like when I get it done. I'm almost got it there. If you don't have none of this broth, that's fine. You can use the water or V8. Use some of the V8 juice. bit more and we'll have it. Okay, guys, now we have it. You see how the consistency of this is? I will be able to take me a ball and put this on that corn husk, and then I'm going to lay it flat, mash it flat, and then I'll add my meat onto that, and then we'll roll it up. Alrighty, guys. I'm going to bring you back when I'm ready to start rolling it. Okay, so this is how we're doing it, guys. I don't know if you can see very well, but here we go. Okay, we got the corn husk right here. So we're going to pat this dry. We're going to lay it like this. So we're going to take our meal. We got that. We're going to put that on there and we're going to smash that down. And spread that meal thin like. You know, some people just sprinkle it and put their meat on. I'm doing it this way. This is... everybody's got their own little way of how they do things. But this is how I'm going to do it. They probably have an easier way, but... So I've got this all smooth and leveled out. So I'm going to take me some meat. About a tablespoon of meat. And I'm going to flatten it out like this. And I'm going to lay it in the middle of my dough, of my corn. So I'm going to take both of these sides and I'm going to pick them up and I'm going to bring that cornmeal to touch. And then I'm going to peel this side back. See how that's cornmeal's this? Then I'm going to tuck this and then we're going to roll it. And then we're going to flip this tail up. And I leave this. So when we go to put them in the jar, we're putting them like this. So let's do one more, guys. We got our corn husk, our paper. We're going to pat this dry. We're going to get our corn meal. Put it in the center of this. And then we're going to mash it out. You probably could just use your rolling pin and roll it out. Would be a lot faster and easier, but... Okay, so now we're going to get our meat, about a tablespoon of meat, or you can use more, that's probably a heaping tablespoon. So I'm going to lift this up, I'm going to bring my cornmeals to touch like this, I'm going to peel this one back, and then I'm going to tuck and roll. This husk was not a very good husk. I'm going to set that one to the side. The husk was tore on that one. I should have known. I don't know how many yet I can get into the jars. So let's roll one more real quick. This one's not tore. Let me get my dough. It's getting a little dry. I might have to add a little bit more moisture to it. Let me add a little bit more juice to it. Yeah, I guess it's set there. It's a little hard to do. Okay. Get our cornmeal all done up, flattened out. Okay, we're going to get our meat. And if you don't have the corn husk, I know people that uses coffee filters to do this. They roll them in the coffee filter. So bring your doughs to touch like that. Then you
peel this one back, tuck, and roll. And then you just fold your little tail over. All right, guys, that's it. When I get a pint jar full, I'll bring you back and show you how we're gonna. Okay, guys, what I did was I stuffed them. It held 4 tamales in here, and I added some of the spicy juice. It says 2 tablespoons of juice is what you add to it. So now I'm going to set this over in the pressure canner to keep it warm while I roll up some more tamales, okay? So I'll bring you back, guys. I will bring you back, guys, when I get these tamales rolled and I go to put them in a jar. This is 4. I took a piece of corn husk and around the bottom where the tail that you tuck. So I'm just going to tie this into like a little knot. No special string. You can if you want to. You can just use the husk. So you see how you've got a bundle of tamales that's all rolled up. So now let's get us a jar. These are pint-sized jars that I'm using. So I'm just going to go ahead and slip my little bundle over in there. See how my top, I'm going to just like mash that a little bit. So what I'm going to do is add some of this juice. There we go. And I'm just going to set it in there to keep it warm. So, let's roll some tamales, y'all. Show y'all this again. I think I put too much corn husk. Soaking. Trying to get these little babies loose. Okay, you take the little this one's kind of tore, but take it. We're going to pat it dry because we don't want it real wet. So we're going to take our dough that we have. We're going to put it in the middle. We're going to smear our dough out. This one's kind of tore right there, so I'm kind of like avoiding it and coming back more this way with it. I don't know if you can see. Tilt this camera down. It's hard to work it, you know, when you ain't got nobody behind it and you're doing it yourself. You want to take your meat. Stretch your meat out across your dough like that. You're going to take this, you're going to pick it up, and you're going to bring that dough to touch and mash that like that. Then you pull this back. You see how that dough is like that? Then you're going to take this and you're going to tuck it underneath there and you're going to roll this tamale. And then you're going to fold that tail. I might have to. There we go. So you're going to lay it on the tail. So we're going to go again with another tamale. Okay, we're going to pat this dry. Get our dough, our cornmeal. Yes, and this is time consuming. But just think, it'd be nice to go to the pantry and get a can of hot tamales out, huh? So we're going to get our dough. We're going to get our meat. We're going to stick it in the middle, roll it out like this. So we're going to pick it up, We're going to bring our cornmeal to touch like that. And we're going to mash that. Then we're going to easily peel one side back. And we're going to tuck this and we're going to roll this. There we go. Now this might be a little bit long. So what I'm going to do is just get my kitchen scissors and cut this top off because there's nothing in there before I tie them. So let's go again. Now you see why tamales are so expensive. You know, you need to get together with like a group of ladies and y'all make these. Okay, here we go. We're mashing this out. And so to can this, you make sure you follow the canning guidelines and go by the altitude that you live in, your area. So I'm going to be canning mine, pressure canning, for 75 minutes on 10 pounds of pressure is what I'm going to be canning mine at. Okay, we got 3. Okay, we almost got it. Pick it up, touch the meal, pull back, tuck and roll. Okay, so now we've got our bundle of 4. You know, if you roll tighter, you could, see how we've got our tails? This is what we're going to tie. We're going to put this down, a piece of the corn husk. We're going to use that to tie these tamales with. I'm so slow. I got these gloves on, y'all. I think they only tie them like in a bundle of 3 is what I think. But, you know, I'm going to do mine in a bundle of 4. Okay, now I'm just going to get my kitchen scissors and I'm going to snip the top of this off real quick. Tamales. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make tamale balls and I'm going to jar those. So like if you have a church event or you're going to like a little party or something, you can always break out the tamale balls as hors d'oeuvres. So that works really well. So all we're going to do is we're going to take a jar. We're going to take these balls, we're going to roll them up. Drop them over in there. Let me add my liquid. Add some liquid in here. I added some more cornmeal to these balls to help hold them together. You know, you don't want to do them too big now because they're going to swell. And these, I promise you, are delicious if you've never made tamale balls. These are a lot easier than hot tamales, but I just wanted to show you the trouble of rolling tamales, which I would rather eat them like this. But I've got 4 pints of tamales rolled, And these are going to be the same thing. It's meat. You know, 75 pounds, I'm at 75 minutes at 10 pounds of pressure for my area that I live in. So that's all you would do, guys, is just get your little meat rolled up, drop it down in your jar. Roll your little meat up, drop it down in there. And then that way, you know, you'll already have these. You could do this in a quart jar, you know, that would be bigger, but of course, your processing time is going to change if you go to a quart jar. But with it just being Menthod, this is good. And the girls, they won't eat this. So, Charlie might, but I don't think Ken will. Kelly's so funny about what she eats. Okay, so I got that done. I'm just going to pour me some more liquid over here to the bottom ring. Okay, I'm going to make sure this is clean. You should use some vinegar, y'all. Okay, that's it. And I'm gonna... Okay, guys, I have been running it probably about 11 pounds of pressure. And my 75-minute time is almost up. You can see this little spots. That's like salt deposits from it spewing. Hey, guys, my timer just went off, and I just turned the pressure canner off. So when the pressure canner cools down and the pressure is off the pot, I'll open the lid and I'll show you what the tamales look like canned and what the tamale balls look like. So stay tuned. Okay, guys, it's all the way down to 0 pounds of pressure. We can safely remove this little guy, and let's see if we can get this open. Okay. You always want to open this away from you because you don't want the steam to come up. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Looking nice. Look at there. Yeah, you don't feel them all the way up. Let's see what the tamale balls looks like. Ow, that scared me. There's the balls. Ooh. See the individual balls? Okay, guys, that's it. This is what I've got canned. The tamale balls and the tamales. So that's it. Always remember to follow the canning guidelines. I will try to post that link in the description down below for those, and I've really enjoyed it. And I'm not the perfect canner. No one's perfect.
Have fun with this recipe. Make it your own. Adjust the seasonings. Make it your own. That's the best way. God bless y'all, and thank you so much. Love y'all guys. Bye.